Yo, what is up, guys? Everyone here on YouTube and anywhere else where you might have found me and came over to my YouTube. I very much appreciate you. I just want to give a quick shout out to all the love on here this month. This past month has been crazy. My YouTube got a lot of hits, a lot of love, and a lot of you have come over from TikTok. I noticed that I just recently started my TikTok, and the outreach and outpour and positivity from there is awesome. And like I said, a lot of you on here on YouTube have come over from TikTok, and I just first and foremost want to say how much I very much appreciate that. And I very much appreciate anyone else that has come over from anywhere else, whether that be Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, or my blog. Whatever the case, we're all one, it's all love, and I can't wait for you guys to see more. I have a lot of plans in store, a lot of videos, and some personal changes upcoming in 2020 to make everything better. And I will be hitting YouTube. I will be hitting YouTube pretty hard. So in this video, this is not a vlog, it's not a vlog. I'm not really gonna label it, even though it is like either one. It's just a blooper, in my words. It's a fun Sunday blooper. I'm on the go, so I don't have time to really edit it much. So that's why I'm recording it in my car, because it relates to my car. And what this video is gonna be about is one of my friends I had gone through middle school with here in Florida. 8th grade only is when I moved to Florida. So from 8th grade all the way through high school, I went to school with her, and we were in contact, but we lost contact for the majority. And she recently reached out to me asking if she could write a reflection paper on me. She is currently in college here downtown St. Petersburg, Florida at SPC. And she's going for an education major. And she reached out and said, hey, we have to write a reflection paper about somebody, on somebody, or an object, etc. And I thought it would be awesome if you would participate. And I was like, yo, I would be absolutely honored and be willing to tell you anything about me or my case or anything or what you need to know. It doesn't matter. I will help you, and yes, I want to do it. And this means so much because I think it's absolutely awesome. She could have chose anything to write about, especially when it comes to an object or a figure. But in this case, like I said, she chose me. We had a 30 to 40 minute phone conversation, and I helped her, and she wrote this paper that's absolutely awesome. So I'm going to read it pretty much verbatim off my phone, and she got a great grade on it. And this is like a backdoor entrance, a backdoor introduction to a lot of you that are newer on my YouTube, because I did an intro video to my whole story way back when, over a year ago now. So if you want to scroll all the way down on my channel and watch my story rather, on here about what I do, where it all comes from, why I started all this and such, go down onto my channel and check that one out and dig in on that. But this is more like a backdoor entrance, back introduction in a nutshell, where I come from, who I am at heart, and what I was born with, and why I'm doing what I'm doing now. So without any further ado, let me read this. And she didn't want me to say her name, by the way, for various reasons. She doesn't want her name put out there, and I respect that, so I'm obviously not going to do that. As it reads, my buddy Shane has osteogenesis imperfecta, a type of brittle bone disease, type 4 to be exact. I remember the day Shane was transferred over to my middle school. He was placed into one of my classes, and I very vividly remember, because like a lot of kids that age, it was hard for me not to stare. He was the only student like that in our school. He was and remains 3 feet 5 inches. At the time, I remember that although Shane could walk, he spent a lot of time in his wheelchair. Through talking to him, I learned his motorized wheelchair was not a necessity for mobility, but was rather intended to ensure safe travels, especially in a crowded place where someone might run into him and hit it without running the risk of fracturing his fragile bones. A few years later, Shane and I ended up at the same high school. It was much bigger, with a considerable number of students. I have very little to no memory of Shane throughout those 4 years. But I recently learned that about 9 months into our senior year, he broke his femur. He had to be placed in almost a full body cast. Both legs, all the way up to here, chest, nothing but a poop and pee hole. Sorry for the TMI. True story. He had to be placed in almost a full body cast, which he described as if being in a jail cell. It was hard to him. Next to impossible. It was hard. Next to impossible for him to do anything on his own. And although he often had friends come in and out of his house for a visit, it was hard for Shane not to slip into a bad mental space. Especially when considering that 8 months after the initial break healed, his other femur broke. Fast forward a little bit, and his other femur broke again. Within a period of a few years, Shane experienced 3 major femur breaks. Today, Shane recalls feeling as if the whole thing could have eaten him alive. He became really depressed, but it was those feelings that encouraged Shane to turn his mind to positive thinking. He did not give up, and despite suggestions from doctors that Shane should never walk on his own legs again, Shane was determined to prove them wrong. Eventually, Shane and his doctors compromised on walking with the help of a walker. That's who I'd like to call Paul Walker 2.0 that you see almost every day on my Snapchat and on past videos. At around the same time, it took Shane about a year researching and jumping through hoops, but he eventually got his license and began to drive with the help of a hand throttle and a booster seat. Interjection. I go forward to brake and back to gas on this hand throttle you see in the video, and this is my handy dandy booster seat. I almost need a booster seat anywhere I go, especially at restaurants, which is annoying. So anyways, he got his license and began to drive with the help of a hand throttle and booster seat. For this first time, Shane felt a surge of independence that he never felt before. He no longer had to rely on anyone to take him to see friends, run errands, or go to work. These feelings of freedom from that independence are where things started to feel as if things were looking up for Shane. Meanwhile, remember when I said people have a bad habit of staring at Shane? He used to hate it and would often retaliate with rude comments in return, but today, Shane has learned to embrace the curiosity. Through his hardships, Shane learned that everyone may be struggling with something, even if you can't visibly see it. Let me rewind. Shane learned that everyone may be struggling with something, even if you cannot see it. Shane learned that everyone may be struggling with something, even if you can't visibly see it. Moving on. Today, Shane is an inspiring viral sensation, roughly totaling 10 million views combined across all platforms. His social media has taken off. Shane ultimately wants to use that fame, or whatever you want to call it. In this case, she used the word fame. Shane ultimately wants to use that fame to do comedy, kick back, and most importantly, give back. His dreams is to visit hospitals and foundations or organizations as a motivational figure to inspire, share experiences, and spread his love. What is his life motto? All love. Hashtag all love. Through Shane, I have learned that life is what you make it. Shane says he could easily become depressed again. After all, he is still liable to break a bone at any time. But every day, Shane chooses to be positive. There is nothing but love in Shane's heart, and that is something we could all use more of, and what I've been able to learn. Shane has taught me rather than focusing on our own misfortunes, we should consider the misfortune of others and aim to alleviate in their burden and share love and positive vibes. As far as the implications for learning go, it is a reminder to always remember to be kind and compassionate. In addition, I will remember that everyone wants different levels of assistance. She is going for an education major, keep in mind, so this part might help some of you guys. I will remember that everyone wants different levels of assistance. Always ask a student if they would like help. Don't just assume. It may be important to a student to attempt a task on their own and to have the chance to accomplish something on their own. Most importantly, never ever assume what an individual can or cannot do. By projecting your own personal thoughts onto the child in a way, you have already set their expectations of themselves. After all, if you already assume a child can't do something, why will the child think any differently? Always allow students to explore their abilities and limitations on their own. And that's it, guys. And once again, I think she did a great job, and I'm so very honored she reached out to me, and I'm willing to do this for anyone in any realm. So be sure to follow me at Shorty Shane. I've been able to get all my links at Shorty Shane on Facebook, my Facebook blog, Instagram, here on YouTube, TikTok. The only thing different is my Snapchat. I have too many people to change it and no time to market on that. So my Snapchat is at pocket size, pocket_SIZED. So be sure to follow me on everything. I run them all by myself. It's hard to manage it sometimes, but I am doing it. I have a lot of visions ahead, and like I said, a lot in store for 2020. So what would mean the most to me, drop a comment, a like, but most importantly, subscribe to my channel. Like I said, I'm really trying to grow this channel. I never had the opportunity to grow, and there is a lot of plans to be set in place. And thank you for all the outreach and outpour thus far. As I mentioned, it does mean a lot to me, and otherwise, it's all love. And by the way, that is Paul Walker 2.0, the walker that I use every day for assistance. Not in every situation, but that's a play on words. I am learning new tips and tricks for YouTube, again, trying to grow that, so be sure to subscribe. It would mean the most. I am on the go. I'm not going to do much editing to this video itself. I just wanted to share the point. It was just awesome. So I'll leave it at that. I don't want to keep you guys here for too long, but I got to go drive somewhere else, so I'll get ready to do that real quick. And I will get this up. It's just a Sunday fun blooper kind of video. So stay tuned. Love you guys. All love. Oh, wait.